And before we move to the delete, so let's do something. So when we refresh the page, so as you can see, we have an empty form. So we need to wait until we get the data and then we submit. Okay, so let's, instead of waiting until we get the data, so let's display the spinner like we have done here. So we will display the spinner until we get the data and then we display our form. Okay, so to avoid displaying an empty form, so let's do something. So we are in the edit. So let's use here if loading, if we are loading the data. So what we need to do, so we'll return and we can use the spinner, same thing. So let's add here spinner, and I think we have already imported spinner. It's already here. So let's do something. Let's try to edit, for example, number 4. So let's refresh the page. So it doesn't show. Why it's spinner? Because we did not return, or I have returned spinner. It's already here. So why it's not showing? So if loading, we have the loading here. Where is? So here is the loading. Okay, we can do something. We can change it here to true, and we can remove the true from here. Or let's do something. Let's make it also true here. And once we are done, so we set loading to false. And whereas when we fetched task, so here we did not add so here also we need to, so that's why it didn't work, because we are not setting the, so we can, let's make it again false. Let's make it false like it was before. And let's here do the same thing. So it says loading when we fetch task, so it says loading to true. So that's why it didn't work. We don't have here set loading, and finally we set loading to false. So that's all. So save. Let's see what we have. So as you can see, we have spinner now. Okay. So let's refresh the page again, and now we have spinner. So it's better than showing the empty form. And now we don't need to use the test that we have here down. So this one. So no need to use it. Let's remove it. And once the user, for example, updates, once the user updates the task, and for example make it done, once he clicks on submit, so as you can see you have the spinner and we are redirected. Let's do the same thing inside task or the tasks list. So let's copy this part, and also here we will optimize the code that we have here. So we'll try to separate the components later. So here let's add the loading, and we need spinner, and don't forget to import the spinner. Okay, so let's refresh the page and see. So nothing. So what is the problem? Loading is not defined, so we did not add loading also here. Okay, let's bring it from edit and paste it here. So let's paste it here and add space, save. Let's refresh again. So why it's not showing? Because we have the same thing like we have done here. So we don't set the loading to true. And once we have the tasks, we set it to false. Let's add here finally, and we set it to, where is it? Where is the curly braces? We set it to false, and we save this. So let's do something. Let's refresh the page. So as you can see, we have spinner, and once we have so now errors has disappeared, and once we have the data, so we display it. Okay, if we filter the same thing, okay, if we click on all, if we order by ID or by title, same thing. If we search for a title, same thing. So I think now it's better, okay? So, but we don't, if we search for something that doesn't exist, so we can't go back again to all, okay? So let's do something. Let's add also the same thing like we have done here. Let's add this clear button also here. Let's move down. So where is the order? So we have here the order. Let's copy this part and move here. So let's add here the flex and justify content to center or between. And here now we can paste, and instead of let's find, or let's change it to search term. If it is not empty, so we display this, and we set search term to an empty string. Okay, so save. Let's see now if we search. So let's clear the order and let's search, for example, for test. So now, so we have the same thing. Let's remove, I think this margin is the reason why we have the button is a little bit bigger. So if we hit the button, so we get all the tasks. So let's search, for example, for this word. So we have here the tasks. If we click on the button, so we have all the tasks. Okay, so what is left? We need the delete button. So let's go down. So we need the button so we can delete. Where is the? So we have this link. So let's add this button that we have here, or that we need. So let's change it to button. And the button, let's give it the class danger. And here, let's change it to trash. And here, once we click on this button, so we will call function on click. So we need on click. We call the function, let's use here the event, and we will add function called delete task, and we give it so I think we need to give it not the event, but we need to give it the task, so we can use the task ID to delete the task. So let's change it here to task ID, and here we don't need events, as I told you, because we will not submit the form. We will only delete the chosen task. So now we have task ID. All we need to do is to move to the top, and here we need to add function. So let's find a place where we add this function. Let's copy from here. We have the update. So let's copy and paste here. So let's change the name to delete task. So let's remove update and use delete. And as I told you, we will receive here the task ID. And we don't need to prevent the default, so let's set the loading to true. And here we need the route, and the route, I think, is the same thing, just we need to change it to delete. The route is the same thing. And what else we need? We don't need to provide the task here, because as I told you, so it will be delete request, so it needs only the task ID. And finally, once the task is deleted, so we display the message, which is the message that we have here. So what else? We navigate the user to the home page. If we have an error, so we console and log the error. Let's remove these validation errors. We don't have validation errors. So something went wrong while deleting the task. Try again later. And finally, we set loading to false. So I think that's all. Let's try and see if we delete task, if it will be deleted or not. Let's see. So let's check our console. We don't have any error. Let's add, let's go down. Before we test, let's add here a margin bottom to this link. Let's give it only one and save. So let's see. So I think now it's better. Let's delete, for example, number 17. So your task has been deleted and something went wrong while deleting the task. So we have two messages. So what is wrong here? So I think that the task has been deleted. As you can see here, just here we did not define the navigate. So let's go back to top. But I think that we are already in the home page. Okay, we are already in the home page. Where is it? So where is the delete? So we are already in the home page. So I think it will not work if we navigate to the home page because we are already in the home page. So let's do something. Let's refresh the page again and try to delete another one. So let's see if the one that we have deleted is removed. We had before, I think we had 20 and other ones that I have added. So we had 23. So now we have 22. Okay, let's delete. So as you can see, we have here, so style is not correctly, or the buttons are not aligned correctly. Let's see what we have here. So let's remove this margin bottom. Save, let's take a look. So as I told you before, I am not CSS expert. So let's add here a class. So that's why I fail always in the styling. Let's give it the flex. Justify content between and save. Let's see what we have. So I think it's better than the previous one. Okay, so we can keep them as they are. Let's move to this one. So I think this one, just because the final ones, just because the title is short. So let's go to the final ones, these ones that we have here. So this one's, the title is long, that's why we have so we can keep them as they are. Let's try to delete the final one, this one that we have here. If we delete it, so your task has been deleted, but it's still here, as you can see. If we refresh the page, so now it will be removed. So we need to refresh the page to remove it. So let's do something. So let's check our network here when we delete. So when we delete, we get the tasks. Okay, we can fix this problem. Okay, let's do something before we fix this problem. So let's add. So where is the delete? The delete function that we have added. Where are you? Where are you? Delete function. So here is it. So let's do something. Let's add a confirm. So if confirm, and here let's tell our user, are you sure? So if he is sure, so then we proceed to delete. Okay. let's do something. Let's start with the set loading to true and then we confirm, okay? So let's see if it will work or not. So let's wait until the page is refreshed. Let's click, for example, here. So we have, are you sure? Okay, if we cancel. So if we cancel, so it's loading. So let's do something. Let's move the loading here. So if the user cancels the delete, so we will not load the page. Let's refresh just to be sure. But it's working. So let's see what we have. So let's try to delete number 10. If we cancel, so nothing happens. Okay, so this is the better solution. So to make the set loading inside. So here, if we confirm, so now the delete happens. So your task has been deleted. Okay, but as I told you, so we need to refresh the page. So to see that the task has been deleted. So now we have only 2 pages. So we can fix this problem.